Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video. It is what it says on the tin. I'm going to talk you through what I've read since last time we spoke, what I'm reading right now, and what I'm going to be reading in the future. I meant to get lots and lots of reading done over the long weekend. I did not. However, I have done a fair bit of reading since then, so I don't have nothing to tell you about. I don't have a lot to tell you about. Anyway, I finished the Tenserate series by Neon Yang. I finished books 1 to 3, which is what was in the audiobook bind-up that I had access to. There is actually a fourth book, which I will read at some point, but I'm just proud of myself for getting past book 1. I have tried twice to get past book 1, and I never have. And look at me, 3 books down. This is a really unique series in a lot of ways, in the way that it explores gender expression, in the way that it explores magic. There's a lot going for it. I actually think that the third one was my favourite because it does a narration in something of an unconventional way. There are more reports, there are more transcripts and such woven in there, which I don't actually think the audiobook did the best job of doing, because obviously they were having to read out a transcript of a conversation, and they kept saying, like, the first name of the person. I was like, you're a narrator, you're changing your voice. You don't need to do it, it's making it really stilted, but it was what it was. But I definitely overall really enjoyed all 3 stories, and I would like to read the 4th one. It's just a matter of getting access to the 4th one. That's the only thing that's holding me back at the moment. But would I recommend that as a series? Probably, yes. I think if you read book 1 and you're kind of like, this seemed fine, I don't know what else I would want from the series, they get much better, I think. And book 1's not bad at all, so it's just like progressively getting more and more interesting. To the point where, to me now, book 1 feels more like a prequel. Like, I'm not sure that book 1 is the story I would want to tell if I could only tell one story in this world. Interesting stuff. I also actually managed to finish, today in fact, Saint Death's Daughter by CES? CSE? The initials go in some kind of order. Cooney. I ended up... Where would I say I ended up on this one? I read the first 30% and I was like, this is a slog. Why is this 600 pages long? Not the first 30%, but the full book. I'm very bored. What's actually going to happen? And then the last 100 or so pages really won me over. It keeps happening lately. I actually think that, like, the middle section of this book through to the end is really, really strong, and ended up giving it about 3.5 stars, but I think had it been about 100 pages shorter, it could have been a 4-star read for me. Don't think it was ever going to hit 5 stars. Just something about it wasn't exactly 5-star for me, but I think it could have, with a little bit of editing, got a lot tighter. A lot of it's very verbose, and that's kind of the style of the book, but at times it really does bog you down in, come on now, let's get to the point, let's get to the plot. I'm interested in these characters, why have we gone off on this tangent for so long? And there's a lot to it. I think that's part of the problem as well. There's a lot of different disparate elements of plot that are tied together that I feel could have panned out better in a series, maybe a series of novellas even, rather than one big chunky book, because it just means that some things have to be put down for quite a long time and then crop up again. You're like, oh yeah, that was plot, wasn't it? What am I doing with this? But having said that, going from where I was right at the start, where I was thinking I was going to DNF it, into actually I quite enjoyed that, and I can think of a few ways it would improve, but overall didn't have a bad time reading it, quite impressive. So I would say if you are planning on reading that one, let the first bit happen, get to the good stuff, and don't get bogged down in it too much. And then the other 2 things I have finished are... only one of them is next to me, I think. And I don't actually have the dust jacket on it. So this is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, and I have actually finished Skyward and Starsight, which is the second book. I don't know why I'm showing you the covers. They all look identical to me. I see no real difference in them, and I feel like that was a design flaw in the UK covers. They're beautiful, but they are all a bit samey. These both were a reread for me in preparation for the 3rd and 4th book, and I really enjoyed the reread. In hindsight, I can really see why people feel like book 2 is just a rehash of book 1. It is. Doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it, because I kind of like that this is just, in essence, a very tropey space military kind of fantasy with a few twists and turns, and even the twists and turns are kind of predictable. Just a little bit predictable, shall we say. But I very much enjoyed picking both of these up again, and moving through to the What I'm Reading Right Now section. This is the only current read I have. 245 pages into Cytonic. Finally! I got this at the end of last year. I've been sitting on it for that long. I'm so sorry to the people at Galanx who sent me this. I'm a terrible reviewer, but it's finally time, and actually I'm really enjoying this so far. It's weird. I don't really know where it's going, and I'm quite glad that I discovered before I picked this up that this is not the end of the series, that there are going to be more books, because I think if I thought this was the end of a series, I'd be very, very confused at this point. But the writing is just very digestible. It's not a difficult read. The characters aren't They're not boring, but they're not overly complex either. I'm having a relaxing, nice time with this series. Brandon Sanderson writes very readable books. And I know that sounds like something every book should be, but oh boy is it not. Which brings me on to book mail/book purchases for the weekend and the week before. I got one piece of book mail and one book purchase, but I'll talk about the book purchase first because it ties in. I popped down to my local Waterstones and, after a bit of searching, purchased Skyward Flight. This is the novellas that are in this series. There are 3 novellas? Yes, Sunreach, Redawn and Evershore, and then there are deleted scenes from Skyward with author commentary. This is quite a beefy book. I asked my wife, who has read both, whether I should do the novellas before I do Cytonic or the other way round, and essentially we decided that because she did the novellas then Cytonic, I should do it the other way round, and then we'd have contrasting opinions. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to read these next. We'll come on to what I'm reading next in but a moment. And also, I can't remember if I talked about this last week, and I'm going to assume I didn't. I think this arrived on Wednesday. Discord of Gods came. Editing Judith, please put in some angelic chorus here. I'm so excited. Now, I did already have a digital arc of this, but I'm so grateful to the publisher and Black Crow PR for sending me this because I can waft it at you. I am torn because in theory I should be starting this next week. It comes out on the 28th? Yes, so in 8 days from when I'm filming this. And in theory then I could get the audiobook and do it by audiobook, but do I want to make a start on it? Then maybe get it done before publishing date? I can't quite decide. But I think what I ought to do is wait until the audiobook's out and then do it then. And you're just going to get a video slightly late. That's fine. But if it tempts me over the weekend, it tempts me over the weekend, and I can't be held responsible. I'm so excited. I've been talking about this series for weeks and weeks and weeks, so I won't go into it too much. The tagline is one curse, one man, one destiny. It ends here. So I hope nothing terrible happens to my disaster children, but let's be real. Something terrible is going to happen to them. I have a few things that I'm meant to be focusing on this week, because I have Marauder still to read, left over from last week, and the sequel to that, Palom, which I might pick up. I have A Far World of Magic, which is on my list, which I'd really like to pick up. This is the... what's the word I'm looking for? Alchemist and Sharpshooter. I knew the words, I've said them before. I'm excited to pick it up, but and also review copies. I have The Stardust Thief on deck because I want to get this read before May, and this was the only chance I had to do it, really. However... I've been very, very slumpy lately, and to stop being in a slump, I kind of have to follow my heart a little bit. So while I'm still really excited to pick some of these up, I will probably try and get to Far Wilder Magic and Stardust Thief, I think. I am potentially going a bit ahead of my schedule, and then I can put things back in. There's no deadline on some of this stuff, because I would really like to finish Cytonic, and then I think I'm going to want to jump straight in to the novellas, just so I can have it all done, all in a row, because that's one thing I really, really enjoy is reading a series back to back, and I don't want to wait 2 weeks until I can read them, so I'm going to follow my heart and probably do that. Having said that now, I'll probably not do that, and I'll have read everything on my list for next week, so either way I win. If I do get through all of that, then next week I'm starting my reread of Marissa Mayer's superhero series, the Renegades books, and also The Best of All Possible Worlds by Karen Lord. So I would quite like to get through all of this. I feel like my every month, what could it possibly be a result of reading slump has shifted itself now for reasons, and I will hopefully be able to get back on track. I feel like I've been falling behind quite a bit. That being said, this weekend we're at home. Next weekend we are at my parents' house for the weekend doing a big family get-together, and the weekend after that we are away on a game, so I don't know how it's going to go. I'm going to try and get as much done as I can, and if we end up having to take a little bit of a hiatus, it's not a problem, it's fine. But I'm enjoying what I'm reading at the moment, and that's bringing me much joy. And new releases, let's talk about them. I have 2 new releases that are in my spreadsheet for this week. I have Fevered Star by Rebecca Roanhorse, which I'm gonna have Editing Judith confirm that this is out this week, because I've not heard anything about it, and maybe I've just not been on social media because I've been living in my tiny little Judith bubble and not wanting to encounter anyone in the world ever at all. But Fevered Star should be out, which means I need to do my reread of Black Sun. I'd love to get that done by this year. End of this year, I'd love to read both. We'll see how we go. And also Sophie and the Bone Song, which is on my see a copy, pick it up list. I'm probably going to try and see if I can find it in the library, I think. But I just really liked the cover on this, and so it's on my list. of things to maybe pick up if I see anyone talking about it in a positive way. There we go. As I say, my brain's not in the most amazing place socialising wise, but I feel like I'm getting some of my productivity back, so I'm going to take that. I'll take it. I'll get the socialising back another day. It's fine. I would rather get things done at the moment. How about you? How are you doing? What are you reading? Is there anything really ticking your boxes at the moment? I would love to hear from you. Plonk those things down in the comments below and I will endeavour to reply to them all. I would really love to start replying to comments again. It's not even socialising. I don't know why my brain won't do it. Shh, I am in the middle of a conversation. While you're down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. Come hang out on Discord. In theory, we have lovely casual chats about books. At the moment, I'm too overwhelmed, but in the future, when that socialisation is back, we'll have those lovely chats. Nothing makes me feel more loved and appreciated than my patrons over on Patreon who support the channel and videos like this. Thank you so much. You guys are the bee's knees. If you'd like to join their number, that's linked below. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one.